Hey everybody, welcome to UTech. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up a DNS server using Windows 2008 R2 Core. First thing you want to do is go and open your Core box. Before we get started, you need to remember two things. The first one is this server has to be part of a domain, and then second one, you have to have static IP address on this. Because the first thing we're going to do is run hostname, see if that's the correct server. The server I'm using is called lab_DNS_01. Next thing you want to go is type in scconfig config. So you get this menu is only available for Windows 2008 R2. So with this server, it's already part of the domain. It's called home.net, and the name of the server has been already changed. Before we enable the DNS servers, we have to do some other stuff. So for anything, you press 7, say enable desktop, yes. So E for enable. So now it's saying that what's the security level you want to set up. If you go 1, allowed only clients running remote desktop. For 2, allowed any client, less security. So for this, we're just gonna go 2. Okay, and then the one after that, you're gonna go to, so if you look here, it said enable all client, and then you want to go to number 8 for network setting, and then set up your network, static IP and stuff. And then after you get done, the next thing you want to do is set up remote management. So go to number 4. Once you go to number 4, you have to go number 1. Say allowed MMC remote, because you have to be managing this from a different server using the GUI version. So 1, enable, it's going to enable the MMC firewall. Okay, and the second, you could do this through a PowerShell. That's the second one. It's enable Windows PowerShell. We're going to skip that part. So go to number 3 and enter that's allowed server manager role management. You must enable PowerShell. So technically you have to enable PowerShell. So you go 2, and it's enabling the PowerShell. It's executing the policy. This usually takes a few minutes. Okay, so you must restart the computer in order to enable PowerShell installation. Okay, so we'll reboot that. While this is rebooting, I just want to tell you, for this lab I'm using VirtualBox. You can use physical, VM, Hyper-V, doesn't matter, they all work perfect. The reason I chose Core is because this is just a DNS server. My second DNS server. My first DNS server is on my domain controller, which I'm just doing it for a lab purpose, but in real life, in the industry or any kind of business, you don't want to do that. That's a really big security issue. The reason I chose Core, like I said, it's just a DNS, doesn't take any resources. I gave it 512 megs of RAM, 20 gig hard drive. It's the basic setup. You could use it with any computer you got, as long as the processor or the motherboard or supports 64-bit. While this is doing, I want to see if I could I'm actually using remote desktop connection management version 2.2. This is still beta, but I want to see if I'm working for Microsoft beta team, so see if that works. It's not working. I haven't enabled. Saying DNS name lookup failed, so still the name hasn't caught up with the IP. So, but we're just gonna go through here. So you're on, so scconfig number 4. Okay, so we just enabled number 2. It's enable Windows PowerShell. The next one, we're gonna go number 3, enable remote manager or management. Number 4, we're just gonna leave it alone. It's show Windows firewall settings. So if you want to set up your firewall, any rules or anything you want to work on the firewall, block ports or enable ports, you can use that. Okay, so it's saying remote server management enable, so we're good. Okay, so once you get this done, you want to press 5 to return to the main menu, and then you want to press 13 to go back to this and use CLS. So you have to be back at this command prompt. Alright, so this is the we're gonna enable DNS role right now. So you go start space whack WOCSETUP space. This has to be capitalized, DNS SERVER. The S is capped on this server. Whack core whack. Really. So all the letters I put here have to be capitalized in order to enable this role. So I'll go enter. Okay, so if you get nothing back, no warning or nothing, that means the role is you just enable the role. Okay, like I say, you have to have a GUI or another DNS server enabled to configure it. So I'm gonna go to this server. This is actually my domain controller. I have DNS installed on it, so I'll open that. I'll click on the DNS button right here and go connect to a DNS server. So this computer, I'm gonna click here. Says the following computer. So it's the name of the computer I'm gonna connect to is lab_DNS_01. That was my other computer. Okay, so there you go, I'm connected here. So if I go, see, I'm connected to the server, but nothing is set up. There's no zones or anything. Like if I go to my main DNS server, if you look at it, there's zones set up for this. So what I'm gonna do is go to forward lookup zone, right click, new zone. This is my DNS 01, my core server. So I go next. Okay, right now it's asking for a few options. It say, do you want to create a primary zone, a secondary zone, or a sub zone? We're just gonna go with the secondary because my primary zone is my domain controller. I could create 2 primary, it doesn't matter, but secondary, that's what you want to do. You want to have 1 primary and 1 secondary, or multiple. So next, okay, say the zone name. So I go browse. If right now I only got 1 DNS, it's tab_DC_1. That's my domain controller and my DNS. But if I have multiple, it'll list all my other domain controller. It's saying where do I want to copy the files from. So I'll just go that, and then here it's a forward zone lookup. A lookup zone. Next, forward. Next, here's gonna say which one do you want to copy. I want to go to my home.net. Next, it's my IP address. Second to copy the DNS more REST server, so specifically the DNS server which you are want to copy the zone. So this is gonna be my domain control IP. So 50, and then see if it was wrong, you'll just get an X here, but I could put multiple IPs for my multiple DNSs, just so all my DNS servers, if I have like 5, 6, they're all replicating with all the records, so I could have multiple stuff on it. But for now, I'm just gonna use this one. Next, finish. So now we have to set up some. So I'll go to my lab DC _ my primary, click on my home, right click, refresh. So once I refresh, I got all these files. So I'll click on that again and go to property. Okay, here is the dynamic updates. How do you want the replication to go? Do you want to go secure only, or you want to go non-security? I want to go non-security service security. Then you want to go to zone transfer. Okay, so here's here you could set up which server is going to be transferring file or record to which server. You could go allow zone. You want to click on allow zone transfer. You go to any server, only the server listed in the name server tab, so you will list it here, or only the following server. If you click on this, you go edit and enter whatever server you want. So say for example you want you have 5 DNS servers. You want DNS, your first server 01 to only replicate with 04, and then 02 to only with 5. That's what you want to do for records. You could do that, but what happens if you want all your DNS to replicate with each other? If only if you have like 2 DNS or 3. So if you have like 5, you have over like 600 people, 700 people, or a few thousand easily. Then you want to set up only to the following. For now, we're just gonna go to any server. We don't care what server it is. Then you check the name. This is your replicate FQDN right here. If you do have a Win server, you could set it up, but we don't have Win server. We don't care about that right now. We'll create one later on. So you want to go to apply, OK. Okay, now I went to my lab DNS01, my core, and I get this access as zone not loaded by DNS server. Okay, why not? So you want to set up, go to right click, go to property, transfer zone. You want to go allow. It's the same thing. Wins, we don't care. Server, we don't care about. Apply. This usually takes, sometimes it's really quick, sometimes it takes 3 minutes. There you go. See, all my record already. Okay, so if I go here, this is my lab DC01, so these are all my record there. And then if I go here, that's my lab DNS01 and home, and all the records here now. See all the records from here replicated to here. So now I have 2 DNS servers. So if one of my DNS servers, I have set up a network with where an IP, when you configure your IP, you enter your static IP and you enter your DNS servers. I could have my DNS 01 there and my lab. So my lab 1 DNS server turned off accidentally, and then my network won't go offline. I could still communicate with the other servers and stuff because my second one will be there. Okay, so I'll show you how that works. So if I go to here, computer configuration, my DHC, my network IPv4, and then my primary DNS is my server. That's .50, but my secondary it's going to be 192.168.1.51. That's the IP address my core box. So OK. Let's replicate. Okay. So let's see for example, my first DNS just died. You know what I'm talking about? So I go save. Okay, I have no DNS now. What's gonna happen? Can I still? I'm gonna ping my second one. So I'm gonna go ping 192.168.1.51. I can't ping it because it's not gonna ping without my replication, so I need to put that IP back. Usually it's supposed to ping, but sometimes it takes time. See how that one just turned into my primary? Yeah, it takes time sometimes. But if I go to my core box, .50, that's my domain control. Can I do it? Yes, I can. See, I could go out to it, but I can't ping in. But that's just because it's still replicating. But you really don't need, if the like I say, if my main primary DNS server goes offline, I still should be communicating, because that's what's the whole point of having duplicate or 2 secondary and primary domain DNS server. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Please leave any comments or any question on. Thanks.